Welcome to Monday night's Tilton Talk Show, the one after the international break. Great news for Blues this week as we failed to drop any points whatsoever. However, a massive test for us on Saturday as we welcome Forest to St Andrews. The points have to start coming our way if we're to avoid the drop, and at the moment we're in the third worst position in the league. Despite this, our away allocations are still being sold out with Fulham's full house for away supporters. You lot are a wonderful bunch. We endure so much heartache, and yet in your droves you turn up once again. It's just 1 point in 8 away games, so the time is right for the players of Birmingham City to start paying back for that wonderful and loyal support. Last couple of weeks seem to drift into nothingness with no proper football, but it's back on Saturday, so let's get behind the team and really be there at St Andrews. Be that 12th man. Mark Skinner from Blues Agents will be joining us on the phone around 8:30, so looking forward to that one. Right, here we go, guys. Strap yourselves in. Let's look forward to all your comments and opinions on tonight's Tilton Talk Show.
When we sing together, we're there at the end of the road. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the Blues. We love you, what more can we say? We have the tickets tops here at St Andrews. They gotta give us what we're longing for. It's Birmingham forever. Let's hear it from the stand. So come on, City, sing this song once more. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the Blues. We love you, what more can we say? We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the Blues. We love you, what more can we say? We are the lads.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. And yourself, mate? Fun?
I'll put my mic
Yeah.
on.
All got something to smile at this week then, because we've not lost.
Not lost.
Not lost for
Yeah.
2 weeks now.
What a heroic effort this
Brilliant,
weekend, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
No goals conceded.
However, sad news from the world of football today as Tim Goodwin sadly passes away. Tim was best known for his reading of the football results on Grandstand, and his iconic voice will be remembered by so many. Our thoughts are with Tim's family and friends at this time. And the squeaking of the door is the famous one and only Mr. G.A. You're late.
Yeah.
From the rest. Right, yeah, so that's a little bit sad news there, obviously. An iconic
Yeah,
voice.
yeah.
Do you remember him, do you?
I just about, I
Vaguely,
think, yeah. I think he retired about 5-6 years ago, so
Yeah.
so my early memories of watching those scores coming in would have been him, yeah. I think
Nothing
another
like-
one, Liam Miller,
Liam Miller, yeah.
going
yeah.
through a tough time at the moment as well, so
I
his
think my
fam-
favourite one was East 55454.
Yeah.
That was always my favourite one.
But it was always the consternation of surprise when somebody got more than 6. If it was 7 or 8, you know, there'd be a little pause before that, and he'd make sure that he'd get it pretty clear that he was saying 7 or 8. But
Yeah. Right. Lots of comments about you this evening.
I know,
so far.
yeah.
You're very, very famous man.
Thank you
tonight,
all
mate.
very much for your kind words about a haircut.
Yeah. Have you detoxed, looking youthful
No,
tonight? International
no.
break done you good, has it?
It must be England, yeah. The England factor.
Yeah, and of course Des Fox there reminded of the teleprinter as well, the old teleprompter.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
the scores
so,
were coming in. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a sad
And
news. Yeah.
Kev Kelly's got it absolutely right. People used to guess the results based on the inflection of his voice.
That's
He
it,
could,
correct, exactly. Yeah.
You knew if it
spot
was at
on,
a
yeah.
draw, it was
that
monotone,
last
yeah.
score was going to be. You knew the result before he said it. The way he said it, yeah. But definitely.
Okay, guys, all you got to do, don't forget, is share this on your personal Facebook page to be in a chance this week to win in some bumper prizes from our prize pool. Kindly donated by Keep Right On Clothing. Thank you very much indeed for all your support. And Mr. Brown is sporting a new Tilton Talk hat tonight. I like that.
Good evening, I have, yes.
I like that.
Do you like it?
Have you shown everybody?
Yeah, I've shown him,
Yeah.
yeah. Soon to be in our store.
That was store. That's a store.
Our
gonna be
club shop.
in your caravan.
In the caravan in front, yeah.
It's a weird one today because there isn't a great deal to talk about. But I think one of the big points coming out of Birmingham City today was Walsh going back to his parent club, Everton.
Yeah.
And the mystery surrounding it.
Definitely
Nothing
silence.
being reported on the
Definitely silence from Blues.
on the Blues website.
Yeah, but yeah, the first I saw was a couple of Everton news accounts putting it about, and a few Blues fans retweeting it. So yeah, it's from my perspective, it's really, really disappointing. We've got a midfield that looks like it struggles to pass the ball and keep the ball, and there's a kid that Everton fans themselves have been raving about him, his performances in the under-23, saying how good he is, how strong he is, confident he is. That he's a leader and he takes control of games and all these things. And he's good on the ball. And then we see 3 games of him, where he doesn't really get a great chance. And then he's sent back for whatever reason it is.
Or was he sent back, or was he bought back by his parent club saying, look, things aren't right?
I don't know. I don't know, because you'd have thought that the deal, the actual loan deal taking place when it happened in August, would be that we say when he goes back or whatever, because he's a young kid basically. So the ball you'd have thought would have been in our court, but maybe not. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. Maybe it is. Maybe it is Everton wanting him back, but. It's disappointing for me that he's gone back, because I was hoping to see more of him in the Blues show. But now we're not going to.
And a little bit of kind of good news. Michael Kieftenbeld has spoken to Brian Dick now about his first-time collapsed move to Derby and the pride he feels at fighting his way back into the Birmingham City lineup. And the words are from the Birmingham Mail. The midfielder has told the Birmingham Mail how he was applauded by his teammates when he returned to Wast Hills, but how he remained worried about the reception from Blues fans. He has also lifted the lid on how he wasn't told he was surplus to requirements at Blues until transfer deadline day, and he hopes his long-term future will be sorted in January. It's been a roller coaster, the Dutchman said. From the start of the season, we brought in a lot of new players, but I still did okay, I think, in pre-season, and I didn't feel any worse than the other players who came in. But everybody knows Harry Redknapp had his own plan, his own thoughts about players, and the way he wanted to play football, and the way he looked at players who were here already. I still played a few games, and then deadline day came. We brought in a lot more new players on deadline day as well, and they let me know that the chances for me to play for Birmingham City were not that big anymore.
Yeah. It's not a great validation on Redknapp, is it?
Yeah.
On the way Redknapp deals with things, it's another cross in the book, if you like, for the way Redknapp treated him, for the way Blues treated him. Somebody that's been a big part of the squad over the last couple of years.
But what he doesn't go to say is where that long-term future will be.
Well, no, listen, if, like I think I said last week, if Derby come back in for him in January with a bid that we feel he's good enough to accept, then I'm sure he won't have any thoughts about going. But it's clear he likes playing here. He says in his interview he was worried about the reception. I don't think he had anything.
Nothing at all.
He had absolutely no reason to worry about that, because the fans didn't want him to go in the first place. The majority of fans were disappointed that he was allowed to leave. But since he's come back, he's probably been the best midfielder we've had.
Without a doubt, probably the best player we've had, to be fair. To be fair.
So for as long as we've got him, if it is long term, excellent. But for now, let's just enjoy the fact that he's still around and we can still utilise him.
Yeah. So Wayne Merricks has put this comment. What about Keith opening up? Will he stay in January? Should we get him tied up and secured with a new contract, or do we let Derby take him when the window opens? I'm just hoping that if Derby do come back in for him again, he signs outside the box.
Yeah, well, yeah.
There'll be 2 or 3 solicitors watching it, though.
It won't. They won't let him go for $1 million again, like they did. Like they did in August.
Kev Kelly, is it true that Blues have to pay extra for Sam Gallagher if he doesn't start? Kevin, I don't know the answer to that question, to be fair.
I don't know the answer to that. Loan deals are difficult. And there are plenty of stipulations. Maybe that's maybe that was one of the stipulations with Walsh, that if he doesn't play enough games, Everton have the right to take him back, because that we're not utilising him enough. So maybe that's maybe that was the situation with Walsh. I don't know whether that's the situation with Gallagher as well.
Yeah. And Penelope Wood, I'm hearing Cottrell's going to send Bramall back too.
Has he really got the resources available to him? We're 22nd and we're in the room we're in. I don't know if he's can he really afford to start giving young players from Arsenal back? I'm not sure about that. I'd keep hold of as many options as I could if I was Cottrell.
And David Curry, let's talk about the lone players like Viv, Brock, Shinnie. Get them back.
No, I'm not sure about that.
We've moved on from there.
Solomon Otterball, I can sort of see because he's still a young kid.
Yeah.
I think he scored at the weekend for Blackpool, but you have to see that he's playing a level below Blues, what Blues are at the moment. Mind you, if Solomon Otterball comes in now, he probably gets a place in that side at the moment. He brings that pace and something a little bit different and a little bit of trickery. So he could be useful in that side at the moment. The likes of Brock Madsen and Shinnie. No. Shinnie's had his chances at Blues and I can't see it. I think their days at Blues are gone.
Kev Coker says Steve Cottrell has stated he wants a tight-knit squad of players that have Blues contracts and will let the loanees return. I can kind of understand that in a way. But if a loanee is a good loanee...
Exactly. We didn't have these loanees last season and we survived on the last day of the season. You just diminished all the loan players and say you want the players that were there last season. You're running a big risk if you allow the likes of Gallagher and Walsh and Bramall to go back, and then you're still struggling. And people say you've let these players go back.
He's done nothing for me though.
But he's played left wing.
Yeah, but
the last 2 games he's played left wing. He's a 6'2" striker.
Yeah.
You're not utilising these players. If you are utilising them, he's not utilising them wisely at the moment. In Gallagher's case, I don't know. I think it's a dangerous game. If that's the road he's going down and saying the lone players aren't going to put it in, so we don't want them. Can you afford to ignore those players?
Mrs. Brown,
Shay Adams for Scotland.
Well, I've heard that one. I was going to come on to that one very shortly.
Okay.
Malky Mackay's been looking at Shay Adams as a potential Scottish player.
Pete wants to know what if Walsh was one of the bad eggs.
Well, perhaps that was the case. I don't know.
You don't know that.
No.
He's 23. He's a young kid. He's come from Everton on loan. That takes a bit of guts to come into a championship side with experienced players like Davis around and Morrison around, and then come in and throw your weight around and become one of the bad eggs. I would have said this situation was happening last season, wasn't it? So I'm not sure the bad eggs are the loanees. Personally,
I don't know. We don't know. That's the thing. It's behind closed doors, isn't it?
We are just speculating, aren't we? Because we don't know. But I mean, I don't know. It's a strange one for me. I certainly wouldn't be blaming your Walsh and the like.
Well, Reggie, I was one for you, Mister. Do you believe Blues implosion is a direct result of sacking Gary Rowett?
Yep.
Thank you. Again, he's answered this question. We don't need a
I
debate. We don't need a debate on it.
I think he's the level of manager we've had since has been nowhere near the level of manager he is. I think, and as
well,
much
have you not
as
heard the rumours about Gianfranco Zola going to be director of football at Chelsea?
Good luck to him. Good luck to Chelsea as well. Listen, he can be a director of football all he wants because he's a big name, and he's a Chelsea legend. And if he can attract players, then fantastic for Chelsea. As long as he doesn't have to coach them or make tactical decisions or manage them, then I'm sure they'll be absolutely fine.
Ryan Griffin saying, let's face facts, I can't see us picking up nothing in the next 4 or 5 games. Well, we've gone for 6, haven't we, at least?
It's really, really tough, the next few games. I think the next 4 games are all teams in the top 6, aren't they?
Yep.
Forest and then Middlesbrough away, and then Wolves are coming, and and then we've got Fulham away coming up. I think QPR at home was the next one where I thought that's a realistic one where you look at and you say, okay, you've got to pick up 3 points there in the position we're in. It's a really tough run in at the moment.
Can I just say, GA's broken everything, by the way.
GA's broken
He's
what?
broken everything. Everything? He's only been here 5 minutes. He's broken
He's
everything.
broken.
Are we off?
It's just... Oh, no, we're here. We're still,
Oh.
I mean, he's just messed about and...
Just belt him. We're jabbing the eye.
Oh, he's got it now.
He's got it. Sorted it.
Yeah, okay. Well done.
Yes. The next match then, Blues Forest on Saturday. After that, Middlesbrough away. After that, Sheffield United away. Into December, we welcome the Dingles to St Andrews, and then Fulham away. That's sold out already. That's just amazing. Isn't it?
It's
amazing.
sensational, isn't it?
And then Blues versus Queen's Park Rangers on the 16th of December.
There's the one. So you got 5 games before that QPR one, and all of them are in the top 10.
And Sunderland 2 days before Christmas.
And that's massive. Yeah, but how big is that QPR game to get something decent from that to go in with confidence against Sunderland? Because you don't know what Sunderland will be doing then. Because they're in the same position. If anything, if it's even possible to feel worse about football than we do at the moment, then you'd be a Sunderland fan, because they're just about worse than us at the moment, I reckon. Yeah. But that's a month and a half away, and I think quickly things can change in football.
Well, look at the table. There they are, sitting on top 35 points. Wolverhampton Wanderers, who would have thought it? Sheffield with 33, Cardiff 31, Bristol 30, Middlesbrough 26. That's as far as I'm going. And then if we look at the bottom, Sunderland with 10, Bolton 11, us with 12, with a minus 17 goal difference. Burton Albion with 13 with minus 21. And then Hull with 16 with minus 2. It's tight. There's a long way to go.
Well, there is a long way to go.
There were a certain team that were here like this time last year.
Yeah,
and we were where they were.
But we've got to somehow turn that form around because the next 5 games, like I say, if we keep wallowing in our self-pity, and if we keep trudling around thinking we're going to be okay, and a 1-0 defeat away at Sheffield United isn't a terrible result and things like that because they're doing well, then before you know it, that gap isn't going to be there. There is going to be a gap there. Sorry.
Here's a stat for you. Forest played 16, won 8, lost 8.
Yeah, they haven't drawn all season.
No draws at all.
I think their away form isn't very good.
Yeah.
It's a bit dodgy. I think they've beaten Sunderland away, but everybody beats Sunderland at the moment, and I think they won at Hull away a couple of weeks ago. But I think the majority of their points are being picked up at home.
Yeah.
So you hope we can get something from the Forest game, but means that their away form isn't particularly good.
Kev Smith saying it's all doom and gloom, can't be watching this much longer. Sorry, well, I'm afraid it's what it is at the moment, Kev, and where we are where we are.
I come on for an hour and a half, and I think we try and sum up where the club is.
Yeah.
And it is in a bad way, You want to try and be optimistic, but at the moment the players aren't. It's the responsibility of the players and everything to give us something to look at.
Which is why this is such a massive weekend now.
Yeah, well, every game is big, because you need that confidence to turn at some point. If we go and beat Forest 3-1 on Saturday, we come in next Monday with a different attitude, and you go in with a little bit of confidence with
and a bit of bounce,
away
a bit of a
Sheffield.
spring in your step and one thing and another, you know what I mean? And a bolty pie if you want one.
Well, if you want one.
Lee Harris says the bigger clubs bring out the best in us with Birmingham City. We'll beat the better sides. That's us all over. Keep the faith. We've got no choice.
You hope so.
You're absolutely right.
You hope so. I mean, listen, we come off the last international break, didn't we? And we had a home game against a team who were top of the table in Cardiff.
Yeah.
And we were looking at that going, I don't know how we get anything from that. So we have to hope that the same happens again.
Cardiff have dropped off there, currently in third with 31 points.
Yeah.
So.
But you have to hope that Forest. I think they won 4-0 before the international break. So you have to hope that the same happens to Forest that happened to Cardiff, and they drop off, and the intensity's not quite there, and we come out flying. We started that game really well against Cardiff, and I think we surprised them at how well we did come out. and we've got to do the same again. We've got to take it to the Forest and not let them get on top of the game.
Yeah, and don't worry, Kev Smith. When we do win, we are bouncing. We are
Yeah.
right up there. But it's been a very difficult season so far. There's no doubt about it. You can't get away from it. The table doesn't lie. We are where we are.
We are.
Due to the inherent reasons.
And where we deserve to be, yeah.
Yeah. And I agree with Dean Williams. Everyone needs to pull together. Absolutely, Dean. If you'd have listened to my opening notes, then, I was certainly talking about the 12th man on Saturday and making St Andrews that hostile environment, which it either A can be or it's completely the opposite. If you're down, there's always alcohol. Don't worry. Thanks, Ryan. I do know.
Yeah,
And somebody put a comment. Somebody put a
actually,
comment on a moment ago. Do you think Cotterell's the right man to turn this round?
I don't.
No?
Okay.
I don't have the confidence in him to turn it round.
I think we made that clear last week,
pray,
didn't
I hope to God that he proves me wrong and he does turn it round and we get away from this. But if you ask me to put a bet on, I'd say gone by Christmas more than mid-table by Christmas. Is the more realistic option.
Surely you've got to give somebody a go because just this swapping and changing about it's just making things worse and worse and worse.
I don't know if it is. I don't know how you can get much worse. You can't stick with a manager just because if he's making fundamental error after fundamental error, then at some point you've got to say, do you know what? He's not helping himself here, and I'd love to give him more time, but we can't afford to.
Ian Dawson, this has been coming for 3 years now. Rowett performed a minor miracle, and I would have loved to have kept him, but we've shot ourselves in the foot. So if Cotterell isn't the man, who is? From Will Rigg.
Name anyone.
Yeah.
Go and get anybody. I said throw your money, throw every bit of money we've got at Chris Wilder at Sheffield United, or go and get someone from League 1 or 2 like Chris Wilder, who's doing an excellent. I think. What about Michael Appleton, who was at Oxford, and then went to Leicester's academy? It doesn't have to be a big name. Graham Potter, the guy who's turned that Swedish club around.
Yeah, he's
at
done
the
Europe,
moment.
Top league.
Even people we've never heard. Nobody had ever heard of Nuno at Wolves and Christensen at Leeds and things like that. And and they come in and they offer something a little bit different than Steve Cotterill, who everybody knows. Everybody knows what Steve Cotterill can bring and things like that. But I don't know.
Okay, Chris, as Blues are 100% in the mire, what portion of that 100% do you allocate to owners, managers and players? As he's Kev's gone 60, 10, 30.
I would say the players have got their share based on their attitude. The managers have picked poor players. They've picked poor systems. Fundamentally, the owners keep picking the wrong managers. Their last three managers, I think they've picked poorly. So I would say half of that. I would say 50% to the owners and then 25% to managers.
Sorry, can I just interject? Nick, I can see our first red card. I don't know if you can see it.
I can't.
Maybe, if you missed it, then we'll do it next time.
Michael Collins.
There we go. Well, that's definitely a red card.
Goodbye, Michael Collins. We'll see you perhaps sometime up the Coventry Road. Only one to blame, says Dave Curry. That's the owners. Please leave. Be careful what you wish for. Do you think Cotterill will last till Christmas in our current state?
I think we've just read out the next 5 fixtures.
Yeah.
If we get 1 point out of the next 5 fixtures, and we are 6 points adrift of safety, he'll be gone.
But don't forget, you wanted 4 last time we asked you that question, and we got none.
No, I know. But let's look at it in the worst. Let's say we get a point at home. say we get a point on Saturday against Forest, and then we go to Borough and Sheffield United and lose, and then Wolves come over and turn us over, and then we go to Fulham and get turned over, and there is a chance that we could be 6 points adrift. That's 15 points available, and we've picked up 1. That there is a chance that we could be adrift then. And I don't think they're going to make the same mistake as they did with Zola last season. So I think he will be gone, yeah.
That what they said should have gone with Cranchar. The owner's primarily from Brian Johnson. Pat Begley, don't worry about the Villa fans. We'll give them the old red card, won't we, mate?
Yeah.
We'll give them the red card and they'll be
Well, that's
gone.
definitely a red card.
There he goes.
There's a jingle.
Players who have been there for so long need to take a share of the blame. Shocking boys, we've been in so much worse place, but always come back stronger. Always, from Kev Smith.
Well, that's what. As bad as it is, and again, as bad as it is, right? And we've spent half an hour saying how bad it is, and we can't see us getting much at the next 5 games and things like that.
No, in Blues. We're
Sold out Sheffield United. Sold out Fulham.
We're probably going to.
I've bought my ticket for Fulham.
You're going on the boat?
No. 4,000 others have bought their ticket for Fulham. So, what an incredible support base. What a ridiculous set of supporters. And there'll be 20,000 plus there again on Saturday.
Yeah.
And, and they deserve better. We deserve better than the current situation we give them.
Steve Lewis, yeah, you can, but if it's got any bad words in it, we wouldn't be able to play it, mate. So, but that's quite a funny suggestion. Can I suggest making Check and Doy play a manager? We've seen his capabilities as a player. Nice one, Luke Griffiths. And,
how long was that before he come up? 26 minutes. Can you believe he's going to be playing in a World Cup next year? Oh, so unfair. The injustices in this world.
And of course, Northern Ireland aren't they? Not Northern Ireland, is it? Northern
Ireland aren't, yeah.
That dodgy penalty, yeah.
The dodgy penalty. Let's all talk about the dodgy penalty. Let's not talk about the fact that they had 1 shot on target in the whole 190 minutes. The reason they've gone out is because of a dodgy referee, not the fact that they didn't even try. They got outclassed for the whole 190 minutes.
Oh dear. Well, that's
They
definitely
lost about 6-0 otherwise.
Kev Smith, how about looking at us picking up 10 points out of the 12? All of a sudden, we'll be on the edge of the playoffs. You're absolutely right. And
do you know what, Kev? I would love for you to. I would love to look like that.
Yeah.
I'd love to look at it like that. I probably wouldn't be called Mr. Fun, and I probably wouldn't be on this show. But realistically, you just can't see that at the moment, can you? You can't see us going to Borough on a Tuesday night and winning at the moment.
I don't know.
Oh, well, time will tell.
Time will tell.
Ray Hobro says, see you at Fulham, Mr. Pugh. Yeah, I'm sure
See
you will.
there, right?
And Ian Dawson, the percentage blame depends on the phase we're in. The owners have a massive responsibility to set the tone financially and in hiring the manager. That then transfers the manager to the major influence, and then it's up to the people who pull on the shirt.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
100%.
What a brilliant quote that was. Quote of the night so far. Nick Stevens just needs some confidence back. If Hotter hadn't missed a sitter at Villa and Keefton Bell shot against Brentford went in, we'd probably have got a lot more from both games. Not impressed with Redknapp's buys, especially the Brentford trio. I think Maxim Collins has been pretty good for us.
Yeah, it's, unfortunately he's got 8 weeks out, so we won't be seeing him until the new year, and obviously Vassell was starting to look a real threat, and he's out for probably the season. So
it will be the season.
We've had a bit of bad luck. we have, but with injuries, it's a difficult one. Jenkinson as well. When Jenkinson come in, I thought that as a right back in the Championship is a really, really good signing. And then he goes and dislocates his shoulder in his first game. So we have had a bit of bad luck with the injuries, especially with the new.
To be honest with you, a lot of bad luck.
Yeah.
And what's up with you?
He's being sarcastic.
All right, okay. Okay. Carl Davis, we just need to start singing our arts out, becoming the 12th man again. Well, again, listen to the opening notes. We have no system and an unshelled team and are in chaos from Robert Doyle. Have faith, be happy, and the new main stand will be named the Check and Doy stand.
Give it 20 years and he'll have Trevor Francis status, won't he, and Doy? Yeah.
Pete Taylor says Check and Doy hat-trick against Forest just before his bronze statue is unveiled outside the main stand. Brilliant.
We love the statue.
Love it. But he apparently had a good game again the other night, though, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, it's good to hear.
Didn't you not hear?
Funnily enough, I'm not massively au fait with watching Senegal at the moment.
You're not?
No.
Or are you just not au fait with like?
Yeah, well, if he's in the team, I'm not watching. I'm finding it difficult to watch any team with him in at the moment.
Was a Starling. One of the problems we have is we still don't really know who owns us and what they have planned. It'd be nice to see them face to face. They'll face up to the fans and state their intentions. I think we know what their intentions are at the moment. That's to sell the club.
Their intentions have always been to sell the club.
Yeah.
But that's what. It's difficult having a pop at the owners. They've made 3 poor managerial decisions, right? But let's not forget they've put more. Well, whoever it is that's put the money in, they've put more into having funds available than we've had in the last 10 years. And we've been able to go out and buy players, whether the managers or Jeff Fateri, whoever it is that's bringing the players in, whether they're bringing in the right players for Blues at this time, or whether the managers are utilising them well enough, is another question altogether.
Do you not think it's important that maybe the owners should know just a tad bit about football, or is it not important?
All I want the owners to do, all I want the owners of my football club to do, if there's money there,
Put it in.
Make it available to the manager, and have the knowledge to pick the right manager and give the manager the best possible chance of doing it. Now they're not picking the right managers. It's 3 now that they've messed up on. Are they giving the manager the best resources? Well, they gave Harry a hell of a lot of money in the summer. Not compared to the rest of the league, but compared to what we've had previously. And before that they gave Zola the money in January. And I just think the managers haven't used it wisely enough, or they're not utilising the players that they're bringing in wisely enough. That's why it's difficult having a pop at the owners for everything that they do. You can say I'm happy to say you've now hired 3 managers, and I think all 3 of them were poor choices. But I'm not going to say get out. I don't want you here. Because they're here for a reason. That they saved us. Let's not forget that we were financially in a right mess 3 or 4 years ago, and they've come in and stopped that rot, and they've given us funds available. Whether they want to keep us for 20 years or they want to sell us tomorrow.
I know with hindsight, but if they hadn't come in with us, realistically, we'd have still been going.
We just. Well,
we were a basket case.
Yeah.
We were handing out free tickets for work. People were being offered to do work at the club, with building work and plastering work and flooring work and everything, and they were offering them free tickets because they didn't have the cash to pay for work in and around the ground. They wanted people to have free tickets rather than have to pay out cash.
That won't be the first time that's happened at Birmingham City.
No.
No, I think we've run out of money once or twice before.
Yeah.
Years gone by.
I actually swept the ground with Ron Saunders.
Did you?
Yeah. He got volunteers in to sweep up the ground, and got a free ticket for it. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
So he used to happen back in his day. That was
Top
on parchment.
Skived a bit though.
Top fan.
Skived a bit.
That was on parchment. Great tweet from Tilton News earlier today. Blues have now sold out their allocation for next month's match against Fulham on the 9th of December. They haven't won an away match all season, and their only point was Derby away. They really don't deserve us.
It's true. And it'll happen again and again and again. Because it's just what Blues fans do. Especially places like Fulham. It's renowned that we'll always sell that out. But the away turnout all season has been terrific, and the home turnout has been amazing as well. That Brentford game on a Wednesday night in the predicament we're in, and 20,000 turned up still.
Just going back to some of the earlier comments. One here from Kevin French. Redknapp to blame for splitting the squad against each other.
Redknapp's got a lot to blame for.
Well, he sat on the main stand, didn't he? He got $4 million in his pocket, didn't he?
Exactly. You know,
What could we have done with that?
so
How many plasterers could we employ for
well,
that one?
exactly.
You know what I mean?
You wouldn't have had any worries paying out a bit of cash there, would we? But you know, a lot of the decisions Redknapp made, certainly that outburst at Burton, outing pretty much half the squad and having them against him did not help. I think there was something there already, and then when you come out and pretty much out half the squad and tell them that they got Zola the sack when it was clear they didn't like Zola, so they've pretty much blamed Harry. Harry then blames them for Zola. That certainly didn't help.
With the team game, morale is
Exactly. And then it's no surprise that he's gone 3 weeks later. So.
And Callum Eads, it's not always the player's fault. It's not always the manager's fault. The people on the pitch are the players, not the manager, and not the owner. It's not hard to kick a football around a field. It's like I said, they are professionals. They pick up £10,000 to £15,000 a week, and happy days.
It's not hard to kick a football around a pitch, but you need to do a little bit more than that, don't you? You know that's simplifying it to the basic.
It
level.
is. And Pat Begley, it's poor judgment by the owners in selecting the manager. They did not mess up on Redknapp. Have to disagree with you on that one. If Redknapp was given the full backing after assembling his squad, we would be well up the table by now.
I just don't see that.
Just think there were other issues
Just
going
do
on in the
not see
background.
it. I do not see it. Redknapp was making poor choices as well. He clearly didn't know his best 11. He kept changing the back 2 every other week, and I don't know. I don't see that. I think we'd have still been where we are now under Redknapp.
Rob Dawes says we're still a basket case, and
Oh, definitely.
But it's our basket case.
Yeah, we're proud to be basket
Exactly.
cases.
Ross Bamber wants to know, was we better off under Sullivan and the Golds? Great question.
Financially, we probably were.
I think we were more
We'd
stable.
have
weren't we?
never have gone bankrupt with them, would we?
No. Would we like to have them now?
There were clearly
Probably not.
restrictions there, knowing what they've done at West
Yeah.
Ham, knowing the way West Ham fans feel about them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy to be
No,
shot of them.
there were
to be
definitely
fair.
exciting times with Barry.
Well,
Funny times, very funny.
just before my time, but I'm sure there were.
Robert Dawes says I've heard Jack and Doy is good on the trowel. Ching, they're coming in. Love it.
It's close to a red card, though.
Yeah, and Vic, we agree with that on Redknapp, handled it wrong with the treatment of players, pre-season training, etc., etc. And
Pre-season was a big one as well, yeah, definitely.
yeah, very much so. And Ian Clayton, me personally, would give Gardner the armband. How would you feel about that one?
It's not.
I would have no
not
qualms
refreshing.
about putting him in against Forest on Saturday. Based on Davis's performance and Ndoye's performances, you can keep Kieftenbeld in there. I think Kieftenbeld is more than worthy of his place in the team. But yeah, absolutely, I certainly wouldn't be disappointed to see Rowett in there. Rowett. Gardner in the team.
Brilliant
Gardner
slip
in that
there.
midfield. Definitely.
Kev Kelly says, Chris Pugh, you regularly defend the players. However, I can't see the logic of poor performance, which must damage their own personal stock and damage their futures. So why not give 110%?
Yeah, listen. I do regularly defend players, not just Blues players, but all footballers. They don't demand the wages. The wages are there. You turn up to another job tomorrow and they offer you 15 grand to do it. You're not going to turn that down and say, "I'm sorry, that's far too much money." You're going to take it. They're not going to turn the money down. So I'm not going to stand here and say they earn far too much money and that's the reason they don't care. I don't like that argument, and as terrible as as hard as it is, as difficult it is that for the Blues players that are making it for me at the moment to defend them, I will defend them and say it's nothing to do with money.
Okay.
But there is an issue in the squad, and it's clear that some don't get on with each other, and that's the manager's first job. We'll ask
Well,
Mark.
from Tom Tubb, Redknapp was poor, rubbish signings and fueled the poisonous squad we have now. Lone players don't care.
He certainly didn't help. He certainly didn't help with the morale in the squad, and
And
the
a good
division.
call in from Stephen Kale. After watching England Friday and the fearless way some of those youngsters performed, is it time to give one of two of our youngsters a go? Hale, O'Keefe, McDonald, etc.
Yeah.
Could give us a similar boost.
Possibly.
And same from Michael Quinlan. It's time to bring some of the youth through.
Other teams have done it, and it's worked. I certainly wouldn't go stupid and put 7 or 8 in.
No.
But you throw 2 or 3 in, you give them a place on the bench, and you say to the experienced players, listen, if you're not going to pull your weight, then there are people we can pick. We will pick people from the under-23s, and who knows, McDonald or Hale comes in and grabs a goal. Comes off the bench for 20 minutes to go and grabs a goal. The confidence that could give him, and they're in a group where they're not used to the division, if you like. If they're not training with the first team every week, they might not be used to the division and fractions in the group, and they come in and bring something a little bit different.
Matthew Butlin, Dutch Mike for captain for me, and Gardner next to him. And lots of people asking if Walsh has gone back. Yes, Walsh has gone back.
Yeah, Walsh has.
Everton,
Well,
so-
nothing official from Blues.
No.
You have to say that, but all the Everton fan Twitter accounts I was looking at today are all saying he was back in training today.
Here's a brilliant question from Carl Davis. Where do you think we would be now had Carson Young not been a fraud?
Difficult to answer that, is really.
That's a difficult
And
one to
I
answer
think-
because the fact he bought us was because he had that fraudulent money. So if he wasn't a fraud, he probably wouldn't have the money to buy us. If you're saying
Okay, I think what
you
the
can
assumption is that
reverse
we've
the
got that.
question.
Yeah.
You reverse the question and say, where would we be if we hadn't have got relegated that season? Because even if Carson Young gets done for fraud, somebody comes in and buys a Premier League club.
Yeah.
Somebody comes in and buys a Premier League club that's just won the Carling Cup.
Yeah.
Somebody comes in and buys that and does something with it, and then that becomes a whole different story. But it's hypothetical.
And Ryan Griffin, thanks for your comments, mate. I do appreciate them, and we do understand your frustrations, but please, no bad language. Thank you. The players might not, but their agents definitely negotiate their wages. Midfield, Boga, Hutter, Keefton guards
Boga?
to have our
What
Unjoy on the
an
bench.
absolutely mad situation, but not playing Boga is. We're 22nd in the Championship. We're crying out for a bit of creativity and something a little bit different. And you've got a kid who started Chelsea's first game of the season, first league game of the season. And if it hadn't have been for
Chelsea?
Cahill, exactly, last season's Premier League champions, he's good enough to start their first game of the season. If it hadn't been for Cahill getting sent off, he'd have probably he'd have stayed on the pitch, and then he comes to us on loan, and he doesn't get a sniff ahead of the player. Sam Gallagher's a better left-sided option than a kid who started Chelsea's first game of the season. That's what I say about the manager's decisions.
I don't know if you've seen this bit about the Mail was saying that Walsh is only training with Everton. He's still on loan at Blues.
Right.
I haven't caught up with
Well,
that.
that's not going to help fractions and divisions,
No.
is it? Then 3 weeks later, we decide we want to play him, and he doesn't know it. He hasn't spoken to any of our players for 3 weeks.
Are our
That's a
people
strange
still
one.
talking to their people?
Still talking.
Still in negotiations. Okay. Warren Evans, will we stay up this season?
Sincerely hope so. Right now, based on the games that have gone, I don't think there's been 3 teams that have been worse than us. But you've just got to hope that after 46 there are 3 teams worse than us. The ability that's in that group, we should not be going down.
Shouldn't be where we are.
We should not be going down.
Bick says we've got so much height in the side, so surprised we haven't been better at scoring goals from dead ball situations and set pieces.
Yeah.
But quite a lot of the set
Hey.
pieces just haven't been coming to the right places, though, have they?
I mean, the set pieces have been pretty woeful, haven't they? Which is another baffling one. You got technically gifted players like Hotter and Boga when you can put them on the pitch, and they're not being utilised, and the set pieces are pretty poor.
Yeah, going back to the money side, Young bought us and subsequently sold all the players, so made double his money overnight. Carson basically used BCFC to launder Chinese monies, and Greg Beasley made his money in a hair salon. I hope my son does. Take his 14
Hopefully a
million
little
off him.
bit more legally than
Yes, I hope so.
than other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Tubb asks the question, are some of the loan players not being played because of contract clauses we don't want to pay?
Oh, I don't know.
If you'd have asked me that 2
yeah.
years ago, I'd have said very possibly. The fact that we're seemingly happy to spend money at the moment, I would say that a money issue isn't a problem. I would be surprised if that is an issue.
Good question, Tom Tubb. Well done. Nice one. Face it, Walsh has gone back. And there you go. So he definitely has gone back.
Yeah, well, it's a strange situation if he's going to be training back at Everton, and then all of a sudden we can say, actually, we want you in the team on Saturday. You can't see him. You can't see him being involved anytime soon, can you? If he's back training with them.
Yeah, no. Steve Gill says if the Blues lose heavily on Saturday, do you think the manager will go?
I think it'll be anarchy, and I think it'll be pretty toxic at the final whistle, and he will be under serious pressure, yeah. Whether he'll go on Saturday is a tough one. I don't think he'll go on Saturday night, even if we get battered 4-0. But it makes the trip to Borough ridiculously tough, and then it makes the trip to Sheffield United even tougher, and Wolves at home even tougher. So, yeah, the pressure will be ranked even higher, yeah.
John Moore totally disagrees about the money thing. Some players like Burnley and Huddersfield players are playing for the shirt, the club and their own pride. They would be on a fraction of the wages currently being picked up by failing Everton and West Ham players, for example. Paying extra money does not guarantee results. Danny Drinkwater has gone from winning the Premiership to a forgotten man, all in the name of money.
I don't think he's been a forgotten man. I think he's had an injury. If you're telling me a move from Leicester to Chelsea is a poor move and it's all about money, then I would suggest that you have another look at that and say who's more likely to win trophies in the next 5 years, Leicester or Chelsea? There's no way he's gone there purely for money. I just don't. I don't believe it. If you say, is there a motivation to go to one club over another because you're getting 10 grand more a week? Possibly. That might be a motivation for some players. But
would you move companies for an extra 10 grand a week?
Yeah.
God, yeah.
There you go. So that's
exactly. It's human nature to think about it. And if a player wants to do that, then that's his prerogative. Yeah. But my stance is that whatever club he goes to, for whatever money he's getting, he is a professional footballer, and to get to that status of being a professional footballer, you have to have that inbuilt desire and that and that passion and that drive in yourself to want to win
for that particular club,
for any club, for whatever club you play for. It doesn't matter. Listen, all the lot of Blues, apart from Gardner, none of them are Blues fans. No. But then you go to Man City and you say, did Leroy Sané, a German, dream of playing for Man City when he was 5 years old, when Man City were in a Division 2 playoff against Gillingham? No, of course he wasn't. He's not a Man City fan. It doesn't matter what he's being paid, but he's putting it on there. But it's about... And there's your good manager. Somebody mentioned Burnley earlier, Sean Dyche. What a job Sean Dyche has done. And he's a manager that can get the best out of your players. Premier League players don't need coaching. They can play football. They know their positions pretty well. They need managing.
Tom Tubb says go back to basics 4-4-2 with a settled 11, concentration on getting good shape and some confidence.
I worry about 4-4-2 with Blues because I don't listen. We don't keep the ball, and we're not good enough on the ball with a 5-man midfield. Never mind a 4-man midfield. I think we'd have even more difficulty keeping the ball. But I can see the back to basics idea behind it.
Yeah. But not for you.
Not 4-4-2 for me. No, I don't think so.
Okie dokie. Right, Italy playing tonight, so they're pinging it about just what Zola wanted. They haven't got a Morrison, etc.
Well, yeah, exactly. They've got the players to ping it about. A few sound effects. Apologies for those.
Professional levels.
I know,
Really
yeah.
rock bottom again.
Well, that's definitely a red card.
Oh, dear me, dear me, dear me. Okay, Super 6 this week. How did you get on?
7, I think. 7 points, I think.
Yeah?
Not great. Difficult League 1 and 2.
Let's have a quick gun down.
2 me, by the way.
Two?
Two, yeah. So
dropping off.
I'm currently in 29th
I'm still 12th,
position.
so-
Stevie Shute is up there in first with 176. Chris Lloyd 172. Adam Wilkes 168. Chris Pugh 166. So you are the Tilton
Top
Talks.
4.
Tilton Talks
Champions
top 4.
League spot.
John Powell, who was a leader for quite a long time, now he's dropped down to 163 with Denise Bishop 156. Richard Kane 153. Andy Cave 153. Ninth, Gordon Tompkinson 153. That's Sharon's brother, by the way. And in 10th place, Heath Burgess with 152. That's our current.
Oh, you're going to do 11th and 12th?
No, no
gonna what?
need. No need.
Am I going to what, sorry?
Oh, you do 11th and 12th?
No need.
No.
No?
No, we don't bother. Once we've gone into double figures, it starts to
Yeah.
get a bit boring, you know what I mean? So
Top 10's all that matters,
Yeah,
really.
but I'm 29th.
Oh.
I'm 29th. So.
Top 29's all that matters, right now.
Okay.
Thanks for that, kidding. I like that. Don't forget, guys, all you've got to do is share this stream on your personal Facebook page to be in for a prize next week. The competition tonight will be drawn after we've had a little discussion with Mark Skinner, who's hopefully going to join us in about 7 minutes. Mark, obviously, the manager of the ladies, Blues Ladies. So I had a
Yes.
good chat with Mark. Nice guy, friend of the show.
Very good guy.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Greg wants to pick your worst Blues team ever. Who would you be in it and any of the present squad?
Enjoy being the number 10.
I knew you was going to come up with that one. I just hope he gets an hat-trick on Saturday and you've got to
I
eat
hope he
your
gets
words.
a hat-trick
I
Saturday,
just want you
but
to
he's
eat
not
your
going
words.
to.
Just please and do it, please.
I'd love him
rooting
to
for
get a
him.
hat-trick.
Worst 11 ever. I don't know. That's a difficult one, isn't it?
That is a tough one.
Yeah, because we've had some. We've had some great teams. We've had some dire teams as well.
Yeah.
Haven't we? Over the years. So.
Yeah.
Kev Smith says, give Cottrell a chance. Bristol City fans, I know, were gutted when he was sacked, not given any more time. Really rated by them, and also think he was the reason we stopped up last season. Truth be known. Let's
But
hope.
what my question to Kev would be, what has he shown you in the first 5 games that he's had that suggests that he can turn this around?
Cardiff. That was one solid performance.
Okay, where we had yeah, fair enough.
The Villa.
So we had Adams. The Villa's a difficult one for me. I'm struggling to give Cottrell credit for the Villa. You know, we had a group of players that were quite clearly, you know, they couldn't play the way that they have done in some games this season because they'd been lynched. You know, they know what the Villa game's all about. They had to give it their all in the Villa game, and Villa really didn't come out at us that much. You know, I'm not sure about giving it on the Villa. Cardiff certainly. You know, we played well in that first half. We played really well in that first half, but he has made decisions that are very, very questionable.
When he's playing, as somebody noted earlier, I think it was Ray Hobro, a left-footed player on the right and a right-footed player on the left.
A 6'2" striker left wing, you know, the Boga thing again, and letting Walsh go back or whatever's happened with Walsh, but he's made more questionable decisions than positive signs for me at the moment.
Right.
And that's where I'd worry.
Christopher Baller and Sue in defence with a question mark on that one.
I hope that's for the worst 11
Right.
and not and not the team for Saturday.
Yeah. And for Greg, worst 11, Hull away, all of them.
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah, that's about right.
Chris Woodley says Mr. Fun actually gets a lot of sense, talks a lot of sense, beg your pardon, for all the slack he gets on here. Barcelona players on 10 times what our players are on, but you don't see anybody questioning their commitment to the badge because of wages.
So that's what I'll feel like. Nobody gets paid more than Cristiano and Messi, the two highest paid footballers in the world. And
why are they paid that much?
And they go on and on and on and keep going and keep going and keep going. Yeah, so throwing money out there, for me, it's a cheap shot.
Barnsley away, we were brilliant from Ryan Griffin. Nothing
That
apart
has
from
to be.
Cardiff.
I'm hoping Ryan's sarcastic there.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Nothing apart from Cardiff. I don't know. I thought we played all right in the Villa game because I mean, it's a local thumping derby, wasn't it? As well,
It was, but that's the whole point. It was a local derby that you can't really go wrong. You tell your team to go out there and kick them to shreds. Do you know what I mean? And make sure that they don't out-battle you. That's the local derby team talk.
And Lee Harris says, I like and share this every week. I'm like our team, I couldn't win an argument. You got to be in it to win it, buddy. You got to be in it to win it. So, yeah, Cardiff was awesome. Villa game was a proper battle. I think it's trying to sort out the bad apples from Kev Smith.
I 100% agree with Kev. 100%. His job, first job, is to sort that out. But he's been there a month now. And his first job isn't complete.
Yeah.
So Dave Moore says Messi and Ronaldo, Cottrell would play them at fullback.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Honestly though, Messi and Ronaldo would be happy to get 5 goals a season in this team, I reckon.
Robert Dawes says something smells fishy down the Blues, and it's not just the flag.
Yeah. Oh, good old flag.
And Harry Griffiths, for a derby game, everything goes out the window. It's whether the players turn up, and they did, I think, on that occasion.
They did.
They
turn
certainly
up, yeah.
turned. They certainly.
I've got no qualms with the effort that players have put in some games this season. Like you say, the Cardiff game and the Villa game in the derby. Definitely, that they have shown that they can put it in, which is even more frustrating when you get performances like Brentford at home and Barnsley away, where they show absolutely zero quality.
Right, Pat Begley. Can we have 5 minutes of positive talk now, just before Mark comes on, yeah? And how can we save the season? Well, we can save the season by winning games.
Sort that split out. Get those players talking to each other. Get them working with each other, and get them training with each other, and sort it out. Stop this division, which is obvious for all to see. Be honest. Come out and say, do you know what? There has been a bit of a problem. You know, some of the guys haven't really got on, but it's number 1 on my list of things to do, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Number 2.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not done. Number 2.
Sorry.
Number 2. Yeah. Get the best out of your best players. Our best players, our most technically gifted players, Che Adams, Boga, Hotter. Get the best out of those 3. You get the best out of those 3 players, and we are not fighting relegation. 3, sort your back 3 out. Your keeper and your 2 centre halves. Decide on what your best 2 centre halves are, and pick your keeper. Whatever happens to, I don't know if Stockdale's fit or if he isn't. If he is fit and he's not picking him for some reason, make that decision. If it's going to be Kuszak, and pick your best 2 centre halves.
And a little bit more positive talking from Pete Taylor.
That's it. And then we win the league.
Positive talk from Pete Taylor. The new pitch is holding up well, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Lovely.
Beautiful. And pies are lovely down St Andrews nowadays. Bit of positivity for you.
Are you going Saturday?
I am not, because I am on a prior engagement in Bristol for the weekend.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, well, I'll be there and I'll shout one for you, as always. So, 4-4-2, Hotter on the left, Bogle on the right, throw crosses in for the big man to knock down to the Scottish wizard.
Scottish wizards and others.
From Dave Moore.
It's taking a lot on your 2 midfielders. Who's that? Sorry, Dave.
Dave Moore.
Dave, who's your 2 midfielders then, Dave?
Hotter on the left, Bogle on the right, throw crosses in for the big man to knock
Gallagher
down
or Jutkovic to Adams, yeah. I can see that, but who's your 2-man midfield? because they're going to have a hell of a lot of work to go through. Could be Kieftenbeld and Gardner.
Yeah.
Could be Kieftenbeld and...
Go on, say the word.
Do you know what? Even if it's Ndoye, even if it's Kieftenbeld and Ndoye, as long as Ndoye doesn't go past that halfway line, as long as he just stays there and breaks up play.
Ooh, wow, more positive news coming in. This is breaking. This is positive. The beer is cheaper before half-time in the changing room bar.
That's
didn't
true.
know that. I didn't know that.
That's true, that is.
Really?
Yeah. Down underneath the Tilton.
Dave
yeah.
Ridgway, thanks for that one, mate. Nice one, top man. Teamwork,
everybody
team
knew
spirits,
that.
drills, team shape, pattern, and get more attempts on
Yeah.
target, score more goals from Vic.
Yeah.
Simple.
Get somebody in January who can pass the ball, who can control the midfield and keep the ball. That's what we need.
And Kev
Crying
Cullen,
out for.
a medical update on Stockdale. He says he must be fit if he only sprained his wrist.
Exactly. Well, has he sprained it? Has he fractured it?
I don't
Does
know.
anybody know? You know, that's the trouble. And be more honest with fans as well. You know.
Who's that from? From the manager?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The manager be more honest with the fans. If somebody is injured, let us know.
Do you know what? It would be an absolutely wonderful thing for the Blues website, wouldn't it? You know,
Well,
the
exactly.
doctor's injury list,
Exactly.
update every Monday morning. You know
Yeah,
what
we
I mean?
sit here every week and someone says,
Well, somebody's just
everybody's
asked when
putting.
Carl Jensen coming back.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
We don't know.
Nobody knows where Jenkinson is. Nobody knows if he's even still training with us or anything. You know, Stockdale. It's
We need that
Stockdale.
as well, don't we?
Stockdale. Or when Stockdale back, we don't know. We don't
know.
even know if he's still injured.
Thoughts on Gallagher? Personally, I feel bad for him as he's played out of
I
position
feel
and
terribly
doesn't
sorry
get
for Gallagher.
Any service, Harry Griffiths, very true.
Terribly sorry for, and I feel
Very
terribly
true.
sorry for. This is what I say: you get your best out of your best players. Gallagher scored goals in a Blackburn side that went down last season. If you put him up front, he's gonna have a hell of a lot more chance of scoring than if he's stuck out on the left.
Michael Quinlan says he's still got a cast on. I'm
Who's
talking
Stockdale?
about Stockdale.
Okay,
so
well,
could have been a worse.
then the chances are he's still injured. Then, but that's
it'd be
that's
nice
the
to
point.
know.
Let
It'd
us
be
know.
nice to know.
Let us know. So I'm not there on Wednesday night saying why is Kushak still in goal because his distribution's pathetic, and wondering to myself when Stockdale's coming back.
There you go. Was that positive?
I'd like to think
Was that
so.
positive? It's almost time to get Mark on, is it? No, is Mark's not available?
He's not available at the moment.
Okay, we'll try again in 5
He was on a management course between 6 and 8.
All right, okay, may run over.
Yeah.
We'll give him another 5 minutes.
Okay,
come on.
yeah.
I did
that
say
works.
8:30.
Yeah.
Would you like to see Grounds played as a left-sided centre half? He always does a job. He knew John Frayne always does a job, and I think we're possibly better than what we have now from Kev Smith again.
The question I'd ask then is who you play left back. And my only other worry is that it's another centre half for the goalkeeper to have to learn to play with alongside. You know, it's a lot of upheaval. It's another upheaval in that defence that we don't really need at the moment. I think Grounds, the last 2 games, to be fair, we've been rubbish against Brentford. We were rubbish against Barnsley, but Grounds was probably the one to take a little bit of credit from the
Holding it
games
together, yeah,
recently.
yeah. Steve Tarbuck, Stockdale was always on Twitter until his injury, then silence. What if he's broke his arm?
I know, yeah.
He's not going to be able to type, is he? I know you can do it with your nose or your left hand, but
I think the situation with the league position hasn't helped a lot of the players being on Twitter and things like that. So
good call here from Stephen Coohan. Wes Harding should start at right back. He was superb against Bournemouth in the cup.
yeah, and I tell you what, I'd kill for Wes Harding over Ensue. You know, if you're giving me the option of Harding or Ensue, Harding all day long, every day. You know, I'm a little bit reluctant to throw kids in because if it goes wrong, then it's really
there.
difficult start for their career.
Yeah.
But it can't be any worse.
No,
We've got to the point now where it can't be much worse.
Kujak has a groin strain, shouldn't be kicking downfield, pass it to centre-backs. And Steve Cale says radio silence from the club on Stockdale. Walsh, well, he's gone.
Yeah.
Bramall,
Yeah.
Jenkinson, progress, something needs sorting out.
Yeah. Agreed,
What do
yeah.
we do to do that?
Well, I thought the club employed people, you know, to let us know on social media management and things like that, where they they can tweet out as many offers on their boat cruises that they put out, and have your Christmas dinner parties at Blues and things like that, where it brings them money in. But they can't tell the fans once a week on a Thursday before a game, this is the current injury list and this is how long we're expecting them to be out for. It's not that difficult, is it?
I wouldn't have thought so. It only needs a medic report. Once a week.
But have an interview with the physio every Thursday and put that out. It's 10 minutes work, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it lets us know, and it stops us fans going on here saying, well, why isn't so-and-so playing, why isn't so-and-so playing, when actually he might be out for 2 weeks and we don't know about it.
Rather than just keep wondering.
Yeah, exactly, rather than going, has somebody fallen out, especially with the divisions at the moment, because then you start thinking, the Bramall thing that come about when Ian
Pete
Walsh
Taylor's
had a
just
scrap.
mentioned Lowe. What's happened to him?
Jason Lowe, yeah, exactly.
Another one's
So then
just
somebody says, well, where's Jason Lowe been? Is he one of the bad apples?
Another one's just come up. Where's Cogley? He was decent right back as well.
Yeah, Cogley's another option, yeah. Yeah, we've got plenty of options at the moment.
Somebody just mentioned the Troy word.
There's no way Troy Dean is going to come to Blues.
Stop
no
it.
way.
Is it worth it?
Well, that's definitely a red card.
I think it is, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I like this red card thing.
I like it.
It's very.
I
good.
think it's a good
Can you
thing.
get some
Yeah.
more jingles ready for next week?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Let's do it. Judging by the amount of injuries, Marcus Williams says, I don't think there is a physio.
No, that's true. Yeah.
You've gone up now, mate.
The physio's gone.
That's a good one.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Mark Tasker of Cogley's fit, put him in. GP's behind closed doors from Gregory. Oh dear. The communications team down the Blues are managed by Undoy. They're brilliant, aren't they?
Yeah.
It must have
I don't
gone
know where
up
they
past
go.
seven.
They are getting good.
Yeah, it's gone up past 7.
Team selection down the Blues is down to Undoy.
Oh, right, it's okay.
Oh, poor Undoy's getting some stick against him. That's all right.
Okey
Don't
dokey.
worry. Well, we're hoping to get Mark Skinner on the phone just a couple of moments' time from the Blues Ladies, the manager of the Blues Ladies, and hopefully we'll be able to have a chat. Now, there's a game going on tonight, Italy,
Yes,
Sweden.
what's the score?
What's the score? Because we don't get access to it in the
What's the score?
studio here.
Who are England going to beat in the semi-finals next year in Russia?
Semi-finals what? Curling? Huh?
No, I find that very offensive. I thought we did all right on Friday night. Actually, I didn't see it live, but I saw the highlights
Steve
afterwards.
Tarbuck, the physio, was injured. Sorry. Get better. They're going to get better.
Nil, by the way.
0-0.
0-0.
Currently
Still
0-0. Half time.
So that's currently Italy not going through to the World Cup finals.
Yeah.
Next,
First time
next
since
58.
58.
58.
And we think we're in trouble. Everybody's moaning, oh, we qualify so easily. Isn't it terrible how we qualify this easily?
The physio's the bad apple has been dropped. Undoy does the leg massages. The club's sweeping it all under the carpet. They certainly are. There is no communication, though, is there? I mean, even when we had Andy Walker down there, we used to get updates, didn't we, like regular?
Yeah, yeah.
And he was good at it. Well, no wonder he's been
Yeah.
headhunted and picked off for a.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, thanks, people. 0-0 at half time.
Yeah.
Expecting a few transfer requests to be slapped in January from Brian Johnson.
I hope not. I hope not.
Physio's pulled hamstring.
This poor physio's getting hit in the neck tonight.
Poor Physio's taking a battering tonight as well.
He is.
Oh, dear. Cottrell's going to pay the physio at left back.
Yeah.
Love it. Keep your physio jokes coming in. Clean, of course.
Yeah.
We do have kids watching and listening, so. Oh, yeah, Benji, only one Andy Walker. He was a good guy, Andy. I think we miss him. We miss that kind of charismatic communicator.
But then, Tatum, Colin used to be pretty good at the Mail, and then we don't hear a lot from him on Twitter anymore. But that's an indictment of what the club is like at the moment, isn't it? We don't get the news through at the moment.
Or we get it trickled.
Yeah.
Via
Yeah.
certain-
Well, exactly. And then 3 weeks later, somebody confirms it, and we all say, well, we knew that 3 weeks ago because it leaked out somewhere.
Yeah. The physio is on piecework, says David Ridgway.
Ah,
Unfortunately, my Facebook has just crashed, so
that's it.
take the realm for a minute.
Yeah. and Roberts just says,
Okay,
in all
mate.
honesty, who would come to Blues now the way we are playing?
player or manager?
I suppose you could look at that.
I think either would still come. I said this last week. We're still currently a Championship club, and we're selling 4,000 out going to Fulham, and we're getting 20,000 through the gates in home games regularly.
We're a big club, really.
And we've got players with ability still. You know,
Yeah.
if you're a midfielder who's good on the ball, and you look at our squad and you see that we've got Che Adams, Boga, and Hotter in our side, why wouldn't you want to be able to feed those players?
Physio's on holiday. We've got to supply physio. Sorry. Physio deserves
Physio
to get
transfer
sick. We've had
listed.
7 hamstrings in 7 months. Something isn't right there. But is it the physio's fault?
Is it the training?
I may even put it down to this new playing surface. I know you said.
I'm not sure because a few of them were in training, weren't they? So it's a difficult one. But certainly we haven't had our fair share of luck with it. With
They've come in the
injuries.
first 2 minutes. What's the warm up?
Yeah,
like?
exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'd question more than anything. You know, the
Well,
Colin
okay,
one
let's-
was 3 minutes into the
Lesbrook's
game.
hamstrings could be down to that new playing surface at Blues. I don't know whether it's got something to do with it or not. 'Cause we've never had this many. Never.
We have had a lot.
We've had 7, isn't it? Something like that.
I mean,
Adams twice.
Vassell wasn't a hamstring, was it? Vassell was
It's crucial.
the
ligament.
cruciate. So that's just unlucky. That is. Adams was a hamstring. Jenkinson was his shoulder, so that was unlucky. Colin was the hamstring. Hotter was the hamstring, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
But that was away at Leeds, so it wasn't our playing surface there. You know,
And Doy selected the playing surface. Oh yeah, love it.
Physio's been sent back to Everton's under 23s.
Due to lack of communication from the club, I'm going to get hammered over this one tonight. Oh dear me.
So we have a semi-synthetic pitch. Is that what we have?
I think
The what,
so,
sorry, guys?
yeah.
A semi-synthetic pitch.
Yes, it's a semi. It's similar to the
Woven,
Wembley one.
yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's like half grass and half nylon woven.
And the benefits are...
Better playing surface, better to maintain it, better to keep it looking good.
Steve
and-
Tarbuck is a physio paid a bonus on how many he can treat at once.
I'm hoping he's.
Do you plan on showing the coach soon? I don't know what that is. Anyway,
It's almost like having David Dunn back with the amount of hamstring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
Dunn and Izzet were in midfield, that was a constant one. I don't know how many games they played together, Dunn and Izzet, but it wasn't many. That's what's happened.
Hamstring City FC. Physio's been on a job and knock. Keep them coming. We've lost Mark Skinner by the look of it. So
He's probably been watching. He's probably been watching this. and thinking, "Oh,
Bleepy says no excuses. It's still grass. I know there's no excuses, Bleepy, but something obviously been amiss with something. No other teams.
No.
3/4 of the team out with hamstring injuries. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, Jay just said, "Can we have the physios as a guest next
Yeah, I've
week?"
seen that one. Nice one,
Dave
Dave. We'll
Moore
see
said
what
it,
we
yeah.
can do. Will our people speak to their people?
Yeah.
And see if we can get it off the ground, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Where is that couch that was posted on the ad?
I don't know. I'm not quite certain about
No,
that.
we're not.
No, I
We're
don't
not
know.
quite aware of that one, Terence. So try and fill us in a little bit more on that one, dude, if you would. Skinner's done his hamstring.
Yeah, it could be. You never know. do
Adam,
you?
that was brilliant. Adam, I love that, mate. Oh dear.
Oh,
Mark
Kevin
Skinner.
Kelly said that BCFC stands for Basket Case Football Club.
Yeah. And Mark Skinner is sat with the physio. Oh, golly.
Yeah.
We've done more hams in the butcher's shop window. Andrew Whitehouse, they're getting better. Who is the physio? We don't know. Who is the physio? Oh, dear. On the parks, muddy pitches of old and no one ever went down with hamstring. Absolutely right, Ray. Completely and utterly 100% right. Oh, dear. Physio will be too busy to come on the show, and Mark Skinner has pulled hamstring from Brett. Oh, God, I love your sense of humour. In the last 10 minutes of these shows, absolutely wild.
It always seems to be about the same time.
Yeah, around about
10,
1:45.
15 minutes.
Yeah. Surprised, Lee says about Mr. Fun, I think, surprised you haven't just pulled your hamstring standing up. And the physio's been hamstringing us along. Stevie Merrick's, well done. BCFC sponsored by St John's Ambulance. Chaos. This is chaos. Birmingham Physio International PLC. Oh, check and do as the physio. Players would be too scared to admit an injury. Problem solved. Oh, you're making me side split, guys. Brilliant. Absolutely stunning stuff. Right, we've got a competition we need to... I've got Mark on. Okay, cool. Right, okay, we'll just get that rigged up into the system.
In a minute.
Oh, Luke Bevan's bringing it all back down to earth. Somebody said they were surprised you didn't pull a hamstring standing up.
No, I'm back. I'm back
Who's your
fully
sponge
fit,
man?
ready to go.
Who's your sponge man?
Yeah.
Oh dear! Check the physio's CV to see if it was transferred from the dial.
Yeah.
And it brings a whole new meaning to going on a Saturday and pulling. Excellent, Adam. Excellent. Whatever happened to the magic sponge? Well, it used to cure all, didn't it? Mm. It was an ad on Craigslist. I don't know what Craigslist is.
No, not me. He's lost his magic spray. Apparently.
Oh God, Mark! If you'd have been with us the last 10 minutes, you'd have been in absolute tears, mate. Let me tell you. Just grab my headphones. Dear me. On the phone, hopefully, we should have Mark Skinner.
Hi, Nick, you okay?
A little bit louder, please, mister.
Yeah.
Yeah, up a bit.
Yeah.
Not you. The man on buttons there, he's not very good. He's only been doing it 7 years, kid. How are you, Mark? All right?
Not bad, mate, yourself?
Top man, you've been on a bit of a course today, we understand. Hope you're doing well.
Yes, we've just, he's just a CPD. We've just, with the Blues Academy staff, so we've just looked at how the brain influences learning and things like that. So, and Dan Machichi talking about philosophies. So it was really good, to be fair. It was really good.
Excellent. Any, did they mention hamstring injuries, no?
No, none of that, yeah.
It's
no,
all right.
None of that.
It's all right. All
None
these
of that.
hundreds of messages on the box have been coming through because we've just been having a laugh over the last 10 minutes on hamstring. I think the men's teams have pulled 7 so far this year. So some of the comedy that comes out is absolutely incredible, brilliant.
I'm sure there is.
Somebody thought you'd pulled one yourself, to be perfectly honest, because you were at 8:30. So like, Mark Skinner's got a hamstring.
I'm hamstrung at times, but yeah, not I haven't actually physically one.
Oh dear. Well, as you know, we've got our wonderful ladies guru, Mr. Fun, Chris Pugh, here with us. Ask away, my friend.
Yeah, Mark, good to hear from you. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it on Saturday for the game at Liverpool.
He had a hamstring.
No, wasn't very well with that one. But just your obviously a 1-0 defeat. What are your initial reactions from after the game, on the 90 minutes as a whole?
I was really disappointed with the result, mate. To be honest, and firstly, I'm glad that you're feeling better. But
Thank you.
yeah, disappointed with the result because we're performing well, and I watched the Reading and Chelsea game the other day, and Reading, scoring an own goal. Chelsea scoring an own goal to give Reading a chance back into the game, and I'm just thinking we're creating chances, but we're not taking them at the minute, and so I was frustrated with the result, but really pleased with the performance again, and I think that those are controllables that as we go throughout this season we'll iron out and really hit it hard going forward. So I was disappointed initially with the result, but when I watch the game back, I'm just really, really pleased with the way that they reacted to it. So mixed, a little bit of a mixed reaction, really.
Yeah, obviously watching the game from my sick bed on the Facebook Live. I think, like you say, the performances you can see that they're there, and I mean I remember Liverpool came to St Andrews last season and played us. I think they come away with a 2-0 win, and I come away from that game thinking that's a really good Liverpool side, and they're good on the ball there, and I think they've been a little bit better than us. But this time we've gone to their backyard on a pitch that's horrible to play on, and we've outplayed them completely. And I think you start taking those chances, and we're a match for anybody.
Look, Chris, I totally agree, and you'll know more than anyone. You watch everything, so we're just disappointed with that at the minute. Like, that's the only thing. But the thing is, we've played 2 games where we haven't scored this season. They've both been at that pitch.
Yeah.
Liverpool and Everton. And I just think that just that last little bit of quality in front of goal, which was shown in other games, and you know what, we'll be right up there. We can take on any team. I thoroughly believe that, and you know, there's no one more disappointed because I watched the game back. I always click the games myself for the analysis because I need to see it back.
Yeah.
And I've clicked the first half, and Liverpool, barring their goal, don't have a chance. Like, they really don't have a chance worthy of me clicking to say they've created it.
Yeah.
You know, Hannah has very little to do. I think that second half, Beth England has a great chance. Should put them 2-0 up, and right near the end, because we're pressing for it. You know, Tash Harding
on
has
the
a
break,
chance
yeah.
on the break, but we knew that. We'd planned for that. We prepped for that. The girls knew everything. They knew Liverpool would bank up but as you say, we took Liverpool on in their own backyard, and after the game, talking to the Liverpool girls, some of the senior girls, and they're flummoxed as to how they got the result that they got. And speaking to Scott Rogers before the game, he said, "Look, it could go either way tonight, and we wouldn't be surprised either way." So, I think what we're seeing at the minute isn't a true reflection of where we are. We've played some very difficult games, and we've played most of them away from home. That's we haven't had a chance to build up a series of games at home yet. And the next fixtures are Manchester City away, again in the Conti Cup. If we're successful in that, we stand a chance of getting through to the quarters. But then we've got Bristol, Sunderland and Yeovil. Sunderland and Yeovil after Christmas, but they're the run of the next fixtures, and they're the fixtures that we need to gain momentum from. Really, that's the ones we need to go and gain momentum, and then running into the new year, I'm sure we can take on anyone, mate. I'm sure we can.
It makes the league look a little bit different after those. You know, if we go after those 3 games, if we get good results in those 3, it turns the season around, doesn't it?
It totally does. And you look at Chelsea and Manchester City, and Manchester City have played Arsenal at their home ground. Although they're in Champions League, Chelsea Reading were the first team to play that people would perceive them to be a threat to them, which is no disrespect to the other teams, because I give them a lot of credit. But and Chelsea sitting high up, it's momentum, and that's what we need to create, and we'll create that. And I've already said that this team is such. I can see it daily in training, and the fans will get to see it. It's just not quite ready yet. That's all.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Adam Wilkes has just asked a question a couple of minutes ago. Will the women be playing a game directly after a Saturday match like they did last season?
Will they be playing? Sorry, what was that?
At St Andrews, like they did last season after the game.
We will be playing. So we've got a game against Reading there in the new year. And you know what I can say about the board? The board have been very, very supportive. Speaking to Dong, we've spoken about how we can integrate more in the future, and all I can ever say is the club. When you go in and speak to them, they're very, very. They're intent. They want to work with us. They want to make us better, and that will show in the future too. So we're hoping to get more games there. We just don't want it to conflict with the men's fixtures, because obviously we want our men's team to be flying in the league, and I'm sure they'll get there. I obviously not listening to the show, but I'm sure that all the fans will get there in the future, and this team will be good too. So hopefully in the future we can play more games at St Andrews.
At St Andrews, that would be good. Yeah.
Well, the main, obviously with the internationals this week, Mark, the main base of the show has been about the games coming up for the Blues men's team. And obviously the situation they're in, the league position they're in at the moment. There's been a lot of talk about fractions or divisions in the squad. Obviously, you're a manager. Knowing the Blues ladies side as I do, it's a really tight knit squad, and the girls do get on really well together. If you were to go into a job where that wasn't the case, what would your first idea be, or your first thought be, to turn that around and to get people on side?
I think really it's a really good question with loads of complex layers, because I think if you're going into it depends what stage of the season you're coming into the job, what the remit is from the board. You might have to go in and affect it straight away. You might have to just sit back, allow things to happen that you wouldn't necessarily want to happen at first. and then adapt it once you get the chance to change it in like a transfer window, for example.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing I'd do is identify. It's just the same as in any group, and this is what I'd say to any wannabe coach or manager. That it's the same as if you're working in an office. If you have a kind of group that are used to each other, that they get on, and then you'll have many fractions within it. It's whether they come together to perform for the outcome. So in football, it's performing on the pitch. They can be separated in their little groups within training because that's their comfort zones, but it's when it starts affecting performance, and that's when a manager can go in and tear it up, or they can ease into it. I mean, when I first came into Birmingham, the girls had relatively good success under previous management, but you could tell there was a difference in the groups that were forming. So I listened for the first part, and only now have I been able to start stamping my authority on the teams by bringing in new players. So I'd suggest that if you give Steve Cottrell time, I'm sure that he will have a lot of say in how those groups perform, because he seems really diligent. He seems, really good at what he does from the outside looking in, and I think that's it. It's norming, storming, reforming, and I think that people need to understand that it's pretty much the same in any job, any walk of life. People have their habits, and it's how you change them. Who are the key members of a group? You have to get around those people too, and that's what I'd suggest, that sit back, observe, if you've got time to do that, and then make your assumptions from there. But always communicate that to them, whether it's good or bad news. People appreciate, maybe not at the time, but talk to their face, not behind their back. Yeah. And that's what we try and do. That's what we try and do in our team.
Absolutely fundamental. Yeah. It's one of the things that we've been talking and discussing tonight is the levels of communication that come out of St Andrews isn't always what we'd like it to be as supporters. So that was a very good call. Yeah. All right, Steve, time's beaten us, unfortunately. Mark, even. It's all right. I do it every week. I even get the ex-wife's name mixed up. Time's sadly beaten us, but do come in on the show again soon. Bring a couple of your wonderful players with you, and we'll set up a ladies' show, hopefully in the new year. Can you?
We'll sort that one out.
We'll do that one. All the very best, my good man. Bless you. Take care. Thanks, Mark. Take care, bud. See you.
Cheers, Mark.
Bye. Okay, it's competition time, lovelies. Take these off now. Last week's sharers have gone into the Tilton Talk trophy, and here it is. And it's my turn to hold it this week. Your turn to draw.
I'll draw.
And
hold on, can I just pretend? Just want Eric Dyer in Moscow in July.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah. Can I do one for you then? Can I do one for you?
Lifting the World Cup for England.
Here you go then. Here you go.
Go on then.
Check and Doy Saturday, man of the match.
That wouldn't surprise me. Okay. The winner this week.
After much rustling.
Oh, small missing.
Oh,
no, it's an empty one.
Oh, you sure?
There's nothing on it, yeah.
Barry James.
Barry James.
Barry Jones.
Barry
James.
James or Jones, you want
Barry James, I think.
There you go.
Well done.
Gonna go for Barry James.
So that's Barry off last week's shares. Thank you. Well done to you. Your prizes will be on your way. Just get in touch with the show with Chris Brown, and we'll get you posted out very quickly.
Yeah.
What's usually kind of the lead time for you posting away?
Usually this week.
This week,
get it by Friday,
okay, cool, lovely.
Okay.
And there are someone. Adam Chambers said, "How's your son, Nick?" Right, okay. Quick update on Scotty. As you know, he had a very large biscuit roller fall on his foot a week or so ago, which has crushed his foot. His toe tectors actually went into his bones and broke the bones on the top of his foot, and his ankle's pretty smashed to pieces.
Pretty rough.
And the surgeons said to him that had he not been wearing his toe tectors, he just wouldn't have had anything left whatsoever. So in that respect, he's lucky, but he's got a long road ahead of him. I don't think he thinks he's going to bounce back in 10 minutes, but he's got a lot of work to do before he gets put right. So, but thanks ever so much for asking. I do appreciate that. Well, okay, there you go. It's been Remembrance Weekend, and as always, the Tilton Talk Show pays its respects. And me personally, I always, every single year, stand in the town centre, next to a Villa fan. Every single year, we rub shoulders on the 11th of the 11th at the 11th hour, when we remember all those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. This has been Monday night's Tilton Talk Show. It's been a bit of a downer one this week. It's but let's hope.
Hopefully next
hopefully
week,
next Monday we're buzzing and bouncing and
it's
rocking.
after a win over Forest.
Checking Joy's hat trick and his Man of the Match award. Yeah.
Good old check and done.
Good old check. Listen, guys, thanks ever so much. Thanks for those. Is there a Tilton Talk trip to Lapland?
Should this week's show's coming from Lapland.
Yeah, it does. Adam Wilkes, thanks. It does sound terrible, but he's already asked if it can go in the disabled area at Blues. That was one of his first questions he put to me as soon as he was compos mentis. But hey, guys, thanks ever so much. Keep right on, keep the faith. Let's get down there on Saturday. Let's make some serious noise. Not have it like it was at the last home game. Let's seriously make some noise, because we are that 12th man, and if we can get off our buns and do our bit, then it might carry on through the field of play. Who knows? This time next week we'll be in a better position to tell whether it's doom or whether it's gloom or whether it's joys instead of sorrows. Keep right on. Thanks, Chris. And thanks to GA. Good to see you again after a very long time. You look a lot older than last time I saw you.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah.
Take care. Have a great week. All the
night.
best.
We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? We have the tickets tops here at St Andrews. They gotta give us what we're longing for. It's Birmingham forever. Let's go.